Hello, a very happy Friday morning to Sir Professor Chakradhar sir. Very happy morning to all the dear students and a cheerful morning to all the faculty and respective viewers. Welcome back to the fifth day induction program at VGIT. We are on the final leg of our program today. I hope and wish that you will have a really heartful session from Heartfulness Organization. Here we have a very eminent well-being person here who's going to transform your lives into the required elements of well-being in nature. So before we jump into the session, let me now introduce our resource person today from the Heartfulness. Professor Chakra is a delivery leader who spent more than 22 years in IT industry. He holds a master's degree in the computer applications. Currently, he's a senior manager in one of the IT major and heads delivery and operations for BFS clients, helping his clients set up offshore delivery centers, setting up specialized practices, driving efficiencies into the business units. Meeting clients with deliver phase has been his forte. He has worked with clients across various geographies, including Singapore, Hong Kong, USA, UK, and Australia, and played delivery and client-facing roles with equal effectiveness. He is an avid meditator and started heartfulness meditation while a student and found it to be extremely useful in his overall personality development and character building. He has experienced and experiencing many transformative moments in his life, which can be attributed to the practice of meditation. As a heartfulness trainer, he finds a lot of joy in helping new seekers to meditate the heartfulness way. He also volunteers his time to conduct meditation classes in many organizations. His interests are varied: still photography, driving, traveling are among some of them. He also loves cooking. He likes to play with watch team sports. He's good at table tennis and volleyball. On the personal front, he's married to a nutritionist and they're blessed with a son who's a teenager now. Both of them practice the heartfulness meditation. He attributes the calm and serene atmosphere at home to the practice of meditation by all his family members. So, sir, we, the VGIT family, welcome you for yet another heartful session for our students and all the viewers. Thank you, sir. Please carry on, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a fantastic, and yet short and sweet introduction. Just wanted to check on the logistics. You are able to hear me, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Everything is fine, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now without any delay. I just wanted to, take on the topic today, which is, I'm going to talk about human perfection. Now, also a bit on how, this topic of human perfection and the tools that I use have shaped my life, right? So, I'm going to do a bit of both in terms of, experience sharing, as well as I'm going to try and draw a lot of learnings from, in the past stories that I have read during my childhood and which stayed very close to me, right? So without any ado, I just wanted to go ahead and then, look at human perfection more of a journey rather than a destination, right? So before we jump into that, I always believe not only in the soft interaction part of our daily life, but also, as I said, I have been able to use successfully some of the tools which I'm going to share that with the audience towards probably the end of this session. Not only share the information on the tools, but we will all go through a 20 25 minute kind of a deep diving exercise, a self exploration kind of an exercise. So I believe, so basically be ready for that experience. And number two, I strongly believe if we are able to give an experience to our audience, the experience, the learning the audience draws from that experience stays back with them for longer duration, right? So for next, 45 minutes, 1 hour or 1.5 hour, whatever time it takes, it is going to be a combination of, talks as well as, drawing from my personal experience, drawing from, the past stories that I read, and that that stories stayed so close to my heart from the epics actually. And also coming back to the present, how these tools can be actually experienced and explored by everybody, not only me, but I'm going to share this information and then have a live session, for with those tools. Okay, so let's go, right? So here you go, right? So let's look at human evolution, right? So we look at uh, Charles Darwin theory and the Lamarck's theory, etc., etc., right? So if you look at how we are what we are today, everybody knows that, leave about the Big Bang theory. I'm not going that back, but Darwin started when his theory, from a unicellular organism to a multicellular organism to aquatic animals to reptiles to the land animals which are going on the land. Then he found out that there are some kind of beings which can live equally and nicely on the land as well as on the water, right? And slowly the evolution of apes and then humans. Now my question to you is this all, right? A lot of times thoughts come to my mind is, something is the humankind, that what we are right now with two hands and two legs and a piece of brain in our head, which enables to us to think, and that is the differentiator between us and the other beings on this planet, right? Also thoughts come to me like, okay, what about extraterrestrial? Now I'm not going to look at the extraterrestrial part of it for today, but I'm going to certainly focus on the the being with two hands and two legs and heart and the mind, right? That's going to be my focus of uh, you know uh, the topics for today. Now if also you look at it, the nature has actually helped us to evolve from a unicellular to what we are today, as we said, right? Now even now, all the different kinds of beings on the planet live harmoniously. When I say harmoniously, they have their own place in the whole set of grand scheme of things, as well as we being a part of, when I say we, the human beings being a part of the whole set of grand set of things, right? Now, I'm also not dwelling into the topic of whether we encroaching the space of the other living beings, etc. Now that that's not the focus of my conversation. But basically, I'm going to stay with how the evolution happened in a slow but very steady manner, what we are right now, and what next, right? So, the what next part is going to come out of my experience and my personal viewpoint. A lot of things that I'm going to share with you is probably my personal viewpoint, and I'm going to place this personal viewpoint in front of all of you so that you can uh, take whatever you like and start building on it, right? I don't want you to stay with my personal viewpoint alone. I want you all to explore, but I wanted this information that I'm going to provide to you, or this conversation that we are going to have for next, an hour or so, to be pointers for you to start thinking on your own, right? That's number one. Number two, I'm also present before you the set of tools, etc., that you can use on the self-exploratory journey that we are calling human perfection, where we are saying that it's a journey rather than a destination. We spoke about the human evolution. It is slow and steady. Now, if you look at nature in the grand scheme of things, right, it doesn't compare, one being with others at all, right? Now, what compares a human being with other human being is obviously our mind, our brain, right? Now, the thinking capability or thinking faculty of human beings is obviously matured enough. So that's why we are able to reason now. That's why we are able to, say yes or a no decision making. That's why we are able to, use the power of the brain on us to make a better human being of myself, or the other way, right? So it's all about the brain part of it. Now, what I am trying to say is, in the grand scheme of things, nature has, in some way or the other, has not compared any beings with any other beings. Just give a small example, right? If they say, a scientific study says that if we remove the entire species of bees, when I say bee, honeybee, out of this world, the study says that the world will collapse probably in about year or two, right? Now look at the role of a honeybee and look at what it can cause as a repercussion if that species ceases to exist, right? Now there are lot of studies that a particular species of beings in this world, be it a bird, be it a bee, be it a butterfly, be it an ant or an elephant, etc., etc., have their own set of, uh, you know, own set of purpose for adding value to the grand scheme of things, which is called nature. There is a lot to learn from the other beings as well. Now, I'm in IT industry. I just want to give a parlance, draw a parlance to the machine learning, right? And all of you, students are, aspiring engineers, and all the best to all of you, because you are starting the journey on being a technology person of the new era. Some of you would take computers, some are in different branches, etc., etc. But internet is available to all of you folks, which is the boon, from my perspective, because any information is just on the, tip of one click of a button in the computer. So do read the machine learning algorithms. That what happens is, a lot of these algorithms are built on the behavior of other beings in the, on the earth. Take for example, there is an algorithm of how best in a teamwork should happen. They go and check the ants, right? How a migration should happen from one place to the other. They go and check, study the, how the cranes migrate from one part of the globe to another part of the globe. How do they know the change of seasons? How do they know the distance to travel? Right? So these are all the questions that answered to some extent, but the concept of how the behavior of other beings on the planet is borrowed and we are trying to make it as an algorithm, natural learning algorithm in the part of machine learning and robotics, etc. Right? So what I'm trying to say is the point that we are all unique. When I say we, it's not just human beings, it is every species living on the planet is unique by its own way. Now, coming to the point of the human beings, which is a subset of the entire grand scheme of things, we are also unique, meaning, my behavior, my attitude, and my habits are very different from my sibling, from my sister, from my, brother, from my wife, from my son. And the same case is with you as well. Even though there are twins to a mother or triplets to a mother, each person in that twins or triplets have a different mind altogether, have a different thinking capability altogether, have a different set of habits altogether, have a different set of behaviors altogether, right? So the complexity of the uniqueness is a little more grandeur when you compare that species versus species. When I say when you compare, not from a comparison standpoint of view, but from a learning standpoint of view, right? So the complexity of human comparison, is much more grandeur because of a particular part in our species, which is called the brain. My brain thinks differently from your brain, and so on and so forth, right? So from that perspective, though, my point is, in nature, where species are unique from different species, my point is human beings are also unique from another human being. So though we belong to the same species called human beings, right? So from that perspective, what my point is to that it is all about the self. It's all about myself in the journey of human perfection. Then once I take the journey of the human perfection, it's all about me reaching to a particular destination from a point of view of current myself, right? I just wanted to, share a small story about a shilpi, right? A sculptor. Now there was a king, he wanted to actually build a temple, and then he goes across multiple kingdoms, and then he hears that there is a beautiful sculptor, a perfect sculptor, and a artist to the par excellence living in another kingdom. So he goes and he sends people out there, and he gets that sculptor to his kingdom, and he says, dear sculptor, I am going to build a grand temple, and I want you to build a very nice shilpam, a very nice sculpture for me, idol of a god for me, which I can install on the Dvajastambam. Dvajastambam is the the pillar in front of the temple. Whenever you go to a temple, there is a huge pillar, and then every Dvajastambam is very unique by its own self, right? So this sculptor gets on to the work, and then after a period of time, he finishes the job, and then he announces, that he goes to the Raja, and then he says, he shows that, that product of him to the king, and king likes it so much, and then he says, okay, next week we will do a muhurtam, and then with on that muhurtam we will install this, the god or goddess, the idol into the Dvajastambam. So he makes the preparation, he announces to the entire city, and everybody is all decked up. The place itself is is prepared, and then the time is soon going to come. So the sculptor opens his product and then he starts to examine if there is any finishing touches that he can do, and notices that there is a scar that he left unnoticed on the face of the sculpture, which is to the corner of the face and which otherwise nobody would have seen. He feels so bad about himself, and then he immediately rushes to the king and then says, "My dear king, I have made a biggest mistake in life, and then I do want you to call off this function because it's not up to my mark." Then king says he is surprised to see such comments, because the function is overview the next day, etc. And then he offers the sculptor, saying that can I also examine the idol with you. The king goes along with the sculptor, and then both of them examine the final finished product of the sculptor. King doesn't notice anything. King, he says, your product is awesome. I mean, it's just so beautiful. I'm not able to pinpoint anything. Then the sculptor says, this is where the something went wrong with my hand, and my tool hit that particular part of the stone, and then it got chipped off and it doesn't look good. And then after examining and the sculptor pointing that particular piece of the idol, the king realizes that yes, there is some mistake. Now, king says Dvajastambham itself is about 20 feet, and this is going to sit on the top of Dvajastambham. How do you care? People will not notice it. I don't want to call off this function. Let us go and install this. The sculptor pleads and then says, "Dear king, everybody looks at it, they don't find a problem. But every time I look at it, I know that there is a particular problem, and my inner self will not let me live in peace if I do a half baked job." Right? So, what I'm trying to say is, it's all about your own unique self in the grand scheme of things, and how that unique self is going to be marching towards human perfection. Right? I just wanted to share a thought and then leave this slide and go to the next one. They say, right, if you want to bring a change in this world, Dalai Lama especially, I borrow a quote from Mr. Dalai Lama. He says, if I don't remember the quote exactly, but he says that uh, if we teach contemplation and meditation to about 10% of the population in this world, and they practice it for about 5 years, there will be peace in this world. Right? Compounding on top of this, what Dalai Lama has said, if we have to change a country, where do we start? We start with individuals. When the individuals change, the home changes. When various individuals in the home changes, the colony changes. When the colony changes, the district, so on and so forth to the state, so on and so forth to the country, so on and so forth to the world. But where is the starting point? The starting point is about me. When I say me, it literally means me. And when you say me, it literally means you. So that's the starting point, and that is what the source of this journey is you, and the destination of this journey is a better you, is a changed you. And that is what is all about human perfection. Not in the, I can do a wishful thinking that, this person can change. This world, this country has to change. When I talk about, our neighboring countries, we all say that they have to change. Yes, they have to change, but we have to change too. So where do we start? My concept is, let us start with myself towards the human perfection, and the destination is a better me. The source is me, the journey is human perfection, and the destination is a better version of myself. Okay? So perfection is best judged by the self. That's what we have seen in the story of the sculptor. And I want this message to be retained within, within yourself until the end of this, presentation. Stay with me, and then I will be open, to questions a little point later. Now, having said that, we talked about human perfection, we talked about grand scheme of things, we talked about human evolution, we talked about various species having their own place in the world, we talked about uniqueness. We also talked about human beings being unique within themselves, and the journey starts from us, as we have seen in the story of Shilpi. We also saw perfection is best judged by the self, right? So I wanted you to retain these messages. Now, okay, we say it's a journey. Now, what triggers that journey is what I wanted to bring it up in this, part of the, is part of my conversation. Now, let's look at, our epic, right? I mean, in my childhood, there were comics which is called Tinkle comics. Like a lot of the lecturers here and parents of the students can probably relate to me what I'm saying. Uh, the Amar Chitrakada and Tinkles have been part of my life in my childhood, right? Now, what they used to, a 20-page small comic book uh, takes up a story in an epic, and then the scope of that particular 20-page thing would be start of that role, how that role happened, end of that role. That's it. So rather than going entire Mahabharata or whatever, right? So I wanted you all to stay with me for these two stories, which are like story of Valmiki. We all know Valmiki is not a Valmiki. His name was a little bit different. And then, you know what he used to do? He used to rob people on the highway and to feed his family, right? So it so happens that Narada was passing by on that forest, and then Valmiki comes back and tries to attack Narada, and then Narada says a few questions to Valmiki, and then he says, "Oh man, you are actually not doing the right thing." Then he says, "I don't know about what is right or wrong. I'm doing my duty. I came to rob you here. And with whatever I rob, I have to feed my family." Then Narada says this person, and then he says, "Okay, you are doing it. You think that you are doing the right thing, and you think you are feeding the family." He asks one question: "I'll be waiting here for you. But you go home and then ask your family members whom you're trying to feed, your family, your wife, and parents, and your children, whether they are ready to partake in your sins." It's a very powerful statement that Lord Narada makes, right? So Valmiki goes back home and then says, "I've been doing so and so to feed you." Now one gentleman who is standing in the forest say that, "I'm not doing the right thing, I'm sinning." And if that is so, oh dear wife, do you partake in my sins? She says, "No, it is your duty to feed me, and it is my duty to raise the family. But my karma and your karmas are different." And he gets the same answer from his son, his children, his parents. Then he goes back and he stuns and then says, that is the point of realization. And then he goes back to Lord Narada, and then he says, "Oh Lord, I'm a changed man now. Please enlighten me." Right? Then the story begins. Lord Narada says, "Can you repeat the Lord Rama's name?" And then he will not. He is so gross, and he's so covered and with himself, his uh, so-called sins, that he is not able to spell out the word Rama. So Narada says, okay, you don't need to spell out the Lord name Rama. He comes out with a way out and suggests Valmiki that you say Mara and repeat it. Then, Valmiki says, Mara, 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 and then it goes back to the Rama. And then the story goes on. He goes and meditates, and, his name, he became Valmiki because there is a, there is Chedalu in Telugu, it's called Chedalu. That worms have put they formed a nest. It's called Valmikam. And then the named Valmiki came for this particular man. So what I'm trying to say is, it is just that particular moment of realization that that person had an interaction with a pious person, and he was willing to change, and then the change began for that particular person. So is very similar story of Angulimala, right? Angulimala is in, again, the Buddhist, kind of a setup, very similar to Valmiki, but a little bit different. That, Angulimala was not Angulimala at that particular point in time. His name was different, and then he was a very pet student of his Gurukula, in his Gurukula for his Guru. There were no schools and colleges at that time, if you remember. It's all Gurukula, right? I mean, then the other students were so jealous of this guy. They set up, and the Guru says, Guru believes the other students, and then starts not liking Angulimala, and says, asks Angulimala to go and get fingers of human beings. Now Angulimala, with all his innocence, goes back and then starts killing people to get their fingers. And he kills 999 people, and he is waiting for the 1,000th guy. In the same setup, kind of a forest, Lord Buddha starts traveling in that forest. And Angulimala founds him, and then he wants to kill Lord Buddha. The style and signature of Angulimala is he kill people, and he cuts their little finger, and then makes a garland out of that little finger, and then he starts wearing that garland. That's why he's called Anguli Mala, right? Now, he was waiting for the 1,000th victim. Lord Buddha comes in, and he starts walking. Now, Lord Buddha, in his own serene and peaceful manner and calm manner, calm and composed manner, he starts walking slowly in the direction he wants to go. Angulimala looks at him and then says, "Stop, stop!" He was trying to run as fast as he could, but he was not able to catch, Lord Buddha. Then he shouts at the top of his voice, "Oh monk, stop! I'm not able to reach you." Then Lord Buddha, in his gentle pace of walking, he says, "Angulimala, I have stopped long back. It is you who did not stop." With that powerful sentence, Angulimala says, "This man is walking and he's saying he has stopped. Now I have stopped here to call him, and he says I have not stopped." He's confused. Then he goes and then, looks at the eyes of Lord Buddha, and Lord Buddha gives that same loving glance of, the achieved state to Angulimala. And with all that love in his heart, he says, "Oh monk, I am confused. You are walking and you are saying that you have stopped. I have stopped asking you questions and you have say, I did not stop. Then Buddha says, I have stopped hurting people. I have stopped forsaking people. I have stopped, all sinning against people long back. It is you who you did not stop, and you need to stop. With that kind of a loving advice, Angulimala melts away, right? He never had this love in his life. So he says, then the conversation goes on, and then, Buddha admits uh, Angulimala in his monastery and he becomes a monk. At the same time, a lot of complaints from the neighboring villagers goes to the king, and the king sends an army to kill Angulimala. And when the army reaches, by the time, Angulimala, he is a transformed man in the Lord Buddha's monastery. So Lord Buddha speaks to the king, and then it goes on in such a way that Angulimala had the rest of the life, and he did a lot of good things, in his life. But what I'm trying to say is, both in stories of the Valmiki and Lord Buddha and Angulimala's interaction, and Lord Narada and Valmiki's interaction, it's all about a the journey starting with that moment of realization that yes, I am not what I have to be. I have to be something different, which is better than me than today. Right? And then, Valmiki, you see in the case of Valmiki, he goes and meditates and he becomes, he attains Lord Rama, and later he actually, whatever Ramayana we have in the scripts, he is the first person to write it. And Angulimala goes on, becomes, the dearest disciple of Lord Buddha at a later point in time. So the point I'm saying, human perfection, though it's a journey, that need for perfection has to be realized by us, right? And that is what, with that particular moment of realization, the journey begins. Okay? Now, and then the journey begins. Now comes the need for the practice, right? So I wanted to give you one more story because I like drawing, as I said, right? I like uh, drawing a lot of learnings from our epics, right? You look at Ekalavya. He being a Shudra, he is being a lower caste. I won't call Shudra, but I think he is a Boyavadu, right? I think, or a shepherd. I don't remember exactly, but the point I'm saying is, he wants to learn the skill of archery, and at those times, the skill of archery was supposed to be taught only to the kingly and princely people, right? So he goes and he sees Dronacharya teaching the Pandavas and Kauravas, and he goes and tries uh, to admit himself. Dronacharya says obviously that I have committed to teaching only the royal prince, and I don't want anybody to take. Yeah, I can't take you because you're not. I can't admit you. You don't qualify. He feels so bad, and then he comes back, and then he's almost depressed. Then his some idea comes in and then says, why don't you start the practice on your own, right? Then he constructs an idol of Dronacharya, and in front of Dronacharya he starts practicing the skill of archery. And it is said that at one point in time, whatever Dronacharya was teaching to the disciples, like his disciples, Pandavas and Kauravas, the same knowledge was being transmitted magically to Ekalavya. Now look at this, right? I think we all know physics. Heat flows from high temperature to low temperature. Same thing with pressure, right? Now, what happened to Ekalavya? How did the Ekalavya learn? Dronacharya was just a idol there, right? He was not actually teaching anything, like how he actively was teaching Arjuna and all the other people around, in his Gurukula, right? So one more beautiful learning from this story is once we are able to create a state of learnability within us, the learning comes from externally magically. And it's true. That is what is called intuition as well, right? So then, Ekalavya goes back and becomes as good as the best archer, disciple of Dronacharya, as good as Arjuna. And then Arjuna goes back, and the story says that Dronacharya promises Arjuna for him to be the best disciple. Now, Arjuna questions that thing, and then Dronacharya, of course, asks as a Guru Dakshina, the thumb as a Guru Dakshina for Ekalavya, and that goes on story, which is a different part of the story, which from the same story, but I don't want to dwell into that. My whole point is practice is what you need once the journey starts, right? Now, once you keep practicing, that itself will elevate you from where you are today to a better version of yourself tomorrow and day after and day after, right? I also want you to bring to your notice that it is scientifically proven again that a 21 days of practice of anything that you want to change or you want to gain, or any skill that you want to upskill yourself, it actually science says that you need to do it for 21 days of practice to retain in us, and 90 days of the same thing to be a part of you forever. So that's why in the internet you can Google, it's called 21 by 90 rule. And, that is a proven fact by the scientists as well. So what I'm trying to call out is not just from the epic story and my interpretation of those things and my learnings, what struck me, but also I want you to look at the scientific approach that our scientists have been doing on the learning of anything new that we can do for 21 days. And if you continue to do for 90 days, that thing will be a part of you forever. Just also wanted to tell one more, uh, you know, uh, one more short story of any sportsman, right? If a particular shot by a sportsman is not played right, like take for example shuttle badminton, what the coach does is ties the shuttlecock from the roof, and it hangs it on the on the level that you want to hit that with your racket, and it says that you have to practice it approximately around 10,000 times in a right manner, right? Once you stay and practice with that 10,000 times, if the kind of movement that our body or hand does, it kind of goes into our subconsciousness and you never kind of repeat that mistake again. The same case with the cricket coaching as well. If you are hitting a offside shot not in a proper way, my friend, it's a live example that I have seen, that my friend used to hang a cricket ball in a sock from the roof of he used to take the hook of the fan and then use it, and then he used to take his cricket bat and keep on practicing the shot which he wants to become better at, right? So the point I'm saying is, okay, human perfection is a journey. We need a moment of realization, but that's not the end of it. Once we have the realized moment that yes, I have to change, the need for practice comes in. And once you do this, 21 by 90 days or 10,000 times, whatever the scientists are, telling us, the same thing will become a natural practice within ourselves. A live example again, right? My father used to go for a walk actually. Now, because of human beings, he feels lazy in the winter and he doesn't go for walking couple of days. And then he says, my body is telling me that I have to go walking tomorrow. And then he goes for walking again and he feels much, much better. And I'm sure the same case with our fathers or grandfathers around in our houses, where they're used to walking, they're used to go and meet friends, etc. If they don't do it for a day or two, they start missing it. That is what I'm talking about, the natural practice. The practice should become a part of our life naturally. And if we skip it for a couple of times, our internal alarm should say that it should start triggering and then say, okay, go back to it because it is helping you. So the gist is practice like there is no tomorrow. Why? If there is no tomorrow, if I come back and then say that, uh, you know, uh, imagine that there is no tomorrow, what would you do? What would you do today? You will spend, we all will spend the rest of our time until tomorrow comes with our loved ones, or trying to do which I like, trying to do some good to the people, etc., 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 etc. Right? We all will start doing things which we have to do, which we'll start missing out. So the practice also has to become naturally as a part of us, and it is like practice like no tomorrow. Now, practice what? Practice of changing ourselves for a better version of ourselves. Okay. Okay, I'll kind of pause here before I go to the next concept. Uh, is there any way that questions can be asked, ma'am? Actually, hello, Anuradha, ma'am, or Priyadarshini, ma'am. Hello, Anuradha, ma'am, or Dr. Priyadarshini.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, is there any way that audience can ask the questions, ma'am? Can we stay for about a couple of minutes on the questions?
Sir, actually, it's in the YouTube chat, sir. Do you
Okay.
want me to ask now?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's one question where a student asks how to remain non-judgmental with people around us.
Okay, sure. It's a very potent question. And, I will come to that a little later part of the conversation if you can stay. Because what I'm going to give you are the tools which will help you to be non-judgmental.
Okay.
And I will take up that question at that point in time, ma'am.
Okay. Should I go for another question?
Yes, please. Couple of more questions and then we can go to the next part of the slide.
Is need for perfection a priority, a necessity, or a character?
Oh, wow, it's a very potent question. I think students are, I'm very happy that students are very actively listening. Yeah, so need for perfection. Can you repeat the question, ma'am? Need for perfection is a necessity?
Is a priority, a necessity, or a character?
Or a character. Okay. So it's a very loaded question. From my perspective, it is whether it's a priority or a necessity, it is me who's going to tell me what is it for me, right? But ultimately, once you are going towards the journey, as I said, it is not a destination, right? It's a human perfection, it's a journey. Now, once you're on the start of the journey, lot of things start changing in your character. In the meaning, whichever the lacuna that you have starts falling off, whichever unnecessary points of your characters starts falling off, and probably you will gain something new set of character values or character traits, if I can call, for you to make a better person. But whether it is a necessity or whether it is a priority, it is you have to take that call, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that. Can I take the other question? One more
Yes,
question.
one more
Uh,
question, ma'am. Yeah.
How does self-exploratory help in being a prosperous, cheerful person?
Exactly. Okay, it's a very loaded question again. I'm glad that people are asking and nice questions. See, he used the word cheerful, right? Now, I will. We all know Venn diagrams, right? I think Venn diagram is my favorite way of depicting. Uh, you know, uh, I would bring in the concept of mind, body, and soul a little point later, and then try and again address this question. But the point I'm trying to say is mind tells something, heart, your heart internally signals something. In the sense, if I have to tell in Telugu, right, it's like manashaksi, right? మనస్సాక్షి ఒకటి చెప్తుంటే మన మనసు ఒకటి చెప్తుంది, మనసు చంచలం. What I'm trying to say is, for people who don't understand Telugu, our mind is a thinking process and it likes to do what is pleasurable, right? But whether it doesn't have the capability to judge whether it is right or wrong. The right or wrong switch alarm comes in from our manashakshi. If I am trying to hurt somebody, probably my mind gets pleasure out of if I'm used to see the pain of other people, but that's not right because the other person is getting hurt. That signal comes from within me. So the equation of being cheerful is, you try and reduce the gap between your heart and the mind. You imagine a Venn diagram. Heart, you imagine a Venn diagram. The more you have intersection of these two elements of yourself, the more cheerful, the more calm, the more composed you can be. And I'm not telling this from a scientific study that I have done on the internet. I am telling this from my own experience of how my transformation journey has happened within my 1.0 to whatever 2.0 or 3.0 of myself today. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So thank you for the questions. And I think I want to go to the next set of, the next level of our talk today. We are talking a journey. Right now, I want to put this journey in a perspective, right? Because if I don't know, if I don't have the map, I don't know where I have to go. I can go anywhere and I don't know whether that is the right direction or not. So my teacher has taught me one beautiful concept, which is traversing from an animal being to a human being to a divine being. That is where one view of perfection is all about being a better being. Now, when I say animal being, you don't need to, I'm not trying to say demean anybody here, nor demean myself by saying that there is an animal in me. No, don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say is there are tendencies in me which are not supposed to be in a human being, right? Now, what are those tendencies? Anger, jealousy, greed, right? Now, if I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say, okay, let me rephrase. I'm not trying to say that we should not we should not have anger at all. But anger is an element which can put us in an unbalanced state when we are taken over by that emotion. You all agree, right? When we are angry, we don't know what to do. We don't know what we are doing. Now, is that a good state to be in? I don't think so. But at the same time, you need anger, because if somebody is trying to hurt you, you need that anger emotion to respond to that particular person so that he is put away. What I'm trying to say is, as long as you don't get overridden by these tendencies of anger, jealousy, and greed, and you don't let them take over in a particular situation, you have conquered those tendencies. Again, I repeat, right? Take, for example, greed. I'm a very greedy person. I want to have entire wealth for me, and I work in an IT setup, and I have a team who have delivered a project, and the success of the project, I want it. But whereas entire project has toiled for it. So as a manager, as a leader in my organization, is it okay for me to let my greed overtake my yearning for success? That is the question I need to ask myself. Or the other way to look at is, yes, I'm greedy, but my greed can be controlled in such a way that I want the success of the project. Now, the greedy towards the success of a particular project. Now, now helping others kind of overtakes, and I share the success of the project with everybody else in my team. Then what happens? Naturally, everybody is a part of that success along with me as well, right? So it is, I'm not trying to comment on anybody's lower tendencies or these tendency hijacking part of it. It is, I'm only trying to give you examples that these situations can happen to us, and as long as we are letting these tendencies overtake us, we have not started our journey towards our destination. Now let us look at what the qualities of human being are. Right? We looked at the animal being. Now what is going to be the human being? Human being is all about striking a balance. It's all about a little bit of introspection. It is responding, not reacting. The difference in a situation of anger, again, if I can take a pause, my response or my answer to that particular situation will be much more balanced than I just react. Right? Empathy, tolerance. Tolerance comes in very, very helpful, because, as you go back to the first slide, we say that every human being is different. There are some qualities in me which I don't like in others. Wife and husband quarrels, brother sister quarrels, brother quarrels for property. Why? Because they're not able to tolerate each other. They're not able to tolerate each other's behavior. So you slowly inculcate that, yes, I am unique, so is the other person. So let me respect him. Let me give him a space. Let me give her a space. Let me understand her or him in his own style. When that happens, tolerance comes. And that is all towards only human being. Now let us see the quality of the divine being. How do we develop compassion? Like, if a, if I, there are some people, a lot of people that I see that they want to help people on the road. At the same time, there are a lot of people I see the other way as well. So when we develop the habit or the attitude of compassion, attitude of love, attitude of gratitude, right? Then probably you are going towards a journey of a human being. So this animal being, human being, divine being is a kind of a map for you. And these bullets are an indicators of which quotient is more in me and which stage I am in these qualities, right? Now it is again an indicative map. It has helped me, this kind of a map, to introspect where am I, and this can change within a day. When I say this can change, the behaviors of us can change in a particular situation. When I am hijacked completely with my anger, my behavior is animalistic. When I respond to a particular situation, when I tolerate other person, I am being humane there. When I start love towards other person, when I have gratitude, thankfulness, when I show compassion to the other person, other being in my family, in my extended family, in my friends, to the neighbor, I am being a step towards a divine being. Okay. So this is a map that we all can use, and this is the way we can transform ourselves from one state to the other. Now, this also goes back to the question of, somebody asked about, being cheerful, etc., etc., right? There is a unwritten rule in nature that whatever you give back to the nature, you get it in bountiful, right? So what I mean is, you give back kindness, somehow, the kindness go to the atmosphere, nature sees in such a way that you get that kindness back in uh, much more quantity, if I can quantify it, much more qualitatively as well, back to you. But if I give kindness today, it's not like a mathematical equation, right? Day 1 equals to 1 kindness outgoing, then day 3, 10 kindness coming in. That is again a logical brain putting this frame of kindness and nature into a logical framework, because we are all engineers. These are emotions pertaining to the heart, emotion pertaining to the transformation of our behaviors. These are outside of any mathematical frameworks. Okay. So this is a map which has helped me tremendously, and is still helping me, for transforming myself to from one state to the other. Okay, now one more perspective is, okay, we said perfection is a journey, and the journey is from one being of state to the other being, from animal to divine. That is one view, that is a map. Now I want you to pay a little attention, because I'm going to introduce a concept which is, perfection is balance, but balance in motion, right? And what is that balance all about? This is what it is: balance between the body, the spirit, and the mind. Understanding what the body needs. It needs rest, so you go to sleep. It needs some kind of being peaceful, so you stay with it and then give some rest. You don't We are not entitled to use our body doing a night out. Even if I'm sleepy, if I do a night out, what happens? The body reacts. You have a slight fever in the next day morning, because it tries to heal itself. And so is with the mind. When you are anger with anybody, and then uh, we burst out, there are repercussions on the soul as well, because some part of it, ourselves, when I am angry, I shout at my wife or I shout at my kid. Some part of me says that you should not have done that, and that stays with inside me, which is the spirit. So perfection is, in our day-to-day life, is, today, did I do a balance between mind, body, and my spirit? If yes, Tomorrow, my body is more healthier. It can only transform, body can only transform to such an extent, but the spirit and the mind, the realms of them can expand. Meaning, I can only grow, if my height is 173, 176 centimeters, I can't grow beyond that, right? In beyond 21 years, nobody grows. I can only grow wider, but not taller. And that too wider, probably 10 kilos, 20 kilos, not beyond that. Because body doesn't take, it gives me signals. So the growth of the body is limited, but understanding the body, what it needs is very, very important. So it's a limited thing. Now, mind, right? How stable, how focused, how non negative, how courageous is my mind today? Did I give enough food for thought for that today? Or is it going in a negative spiral? Spirit, is there anything that is pulling me down? My behavior, my guilt, my actions which I should not do? Those are the questions come in the spirit perspective. So if we are able to strike a balance between the mind, body, and spirit day after day, day after day, day after day, we kind of achieve a perfection for today. And today's perfection is different from tomorrow's perfection, and the day after, and the week later, one year later, I'm a better person. So perfection is balance for that particular day and a situation, but it is in motion as well. So today's being perfect state, if I can quantify it, right? If I am actually putting body equals to 1, spirit equals to 1, mind equals to 1. Take, for example, it is not that way, but today I have spent 10 minutes, 10 into 3, 30. 30 is my perfection quotient. Tomorrow I spend 2 minutes with each of them, or 20 minutes for each of them. My perfection quotient, the more I spend time for myself with these 3 elements of myself, the more perfection I get for today. And tomorrow's perfection is more, day after tomorrow's is more, 1 year later is more, 10 years later is more, because I'm a transformed person. That is how perfection is to balance today, but is in motion at the same time. Okay. uh, Probably a not so easy concept for a lot of people. Try and think on it, let this concept stay in you, and think over it. It's like a homework and essay writing at a later point in time, which you something will reveal for you. Now I want to put one more perspective of similar way. A lot of people, right, a different view: IQ, EQ, and SQ, right? Now, yeah, right. IQ is intelligence quotient, which is the brain power, thinking power, which is knowledge, learnability, comprehension, studying, etc., etc., etc. There is an EQ, which is emotional quotient. In different phases of our life, we use these combination of quotient, and this combination of quotients define what we are. IQ comes in more when you're in college, school. EQ comes in more even in college when you are doing a teamwork, or when you're trying to respond to somebody, when you're trying to solve a problem in a group. Now, spiritual quotient comes in as your innate behavior and your change in attitudes and your responsibility towards your family, responsibility towards your society. So that's part of the spiritual quotient. Now, why I'm bringing in the spiritual quotient? Nowadays, there is a lot of, it's IQ and EQ are given, right? EQ was a new concept about 10 years back. The recent thing is SQ is also, scientists are doing a lot of research on how SQ actually plays a very important role in an organization, in a society, in a family, etc., etc., etc. in a country, in a neighborhood. So there are tools and techniques which can traverse these three quotients and again make them balanced and acquire more of some SQ in a particular situation, more of IQ, not acquire, more of put to use, if I can call it, right? But the point I'm trying to say is if we are not able to know these concepts, you will never get there. So I'm trying to introduce this concept and try and differentiate between IQ, EQ, and SQ. So that, again, what we saw here in the previous slide is mind, body, spirit. It is not just proportional to IQ, SQ, and EQ, but a different perspective. There's a different perspective that I'm trying to bring in, and then, which can stay, with you. Okay. Okay, so with all this concept, I just wanted to, take a little more time on what has helped me. I have used a lot of tools of self-introspection, and I make a, uh, time for myself, which is called me time, right? Now, you can Google on the me time, me hyphen time or me time. There are so many studies that the scientists are doing that how spending the me time qualitatively better will help you to be a better person in your daily life, will help you to be a better person in your society, etc., etc., etc. You can Google it, me time, right? And I have used these tools of self introspection to explore my inner core. If you remember, a part of the previous topics were uh, like a intuition, right? In a particular situation, if you have to respond, the mind can only process data. If that particular situation has you have occurred before, mind can stay with it and then try and understand what it has gone through. But if it is a new situation in your life which you have not encountered so far, mind goes blank, and that's where probably what helps you is intuition. Now, there are tools to let us tap into the intuitiveness of ourselves, and that's intuition. Power of intuition stays with everybody. It is not just for me, it is not just for anybody else. Every human being has a quality of intuition which he can tap or she can tap into by exploring the inner core of one's heart. Hrudayam. In Telugu, it's called Hrudayam. In English, there is no other word. It's called heart, but heart is a muscle. I am talking about exploring the concepts of Hrudayam rather than the heart. Okay, so all this, provided I'm willing to change. There is a saying, right? I can take a horse to a pond, but if he does not want to drink it, I can't do anything. So it's very similar. What I'm trying to give you a perspective of human perfection and how it has helped me and what are the tools that has helped me. I'm going to introduce to you next 5-10 minutes. I was willing to change. I use these tools of self introspection. I spend time with myself every day, and I explore my inner core every day to some extent or the other. What it has helped me to achieve perfection today in my work, in my family, in my situations. And today's perfection is lower than tomorrow's perfection. And it's like a wide funnel. A year later, if I look back myself, how the state in which I was at that particular point in time, I'm so different today. My responsiveness has increased. My anger is being modularized. My thoughts have been regularized. So these are all the outputs of myself that happen to me. Okay. So the next, I will take about 5-10 minutes of, not 5-10 minutes, because we are at 11:46. Oh, sorry, 11:48, and I need about 25 minutes of time. And then we can come back with questions. So let me take about 1 or 2 questions, ma'am, at this point in time, before we go to the next phase of experiencing, what we are telling. We've been talking much actually, but what about experience, right? So before experiencing, I want to tell a couple of, questions, take a couple of questions, ma'am.
Sure, sir. Can I ask, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
There is one student, Kirti Chowdhury. What is the better way of transforming ourselves into a divine being that is developing gratitude and compassion, etc.?
Yeah, Kirti, thank you very much for asking this question. There are, see, the only way is this, right? I think if you want to, I'll just give an example. Before giving an example, this is your personal journey, and you have to take on it, right? It's like I can take you to Himalayas if you want to go and climb a mountain. But once I take you there, from the foot till the top, it's you have to do. What I'm trying to give you is a personal experience. I can only tell. I went to Himalayas last week. It was beautiful. It was snow. It was chill, and base camp was superb. I can tell essays and essays of stories. But Kirti, it is you who have to take that personal journey, and which I will give you a glimpse of an experience of what we are trying to do in next 20 minutes. But the point I'm trying to say is it is your personal journey. But I'll answer that question directly with a example. Suppose if there is a dark room, and if you want to drive away darkness, what do? We switch on the light, or we take we light a candle and then take that candle into the room. So the transformation from an animal being to divine being is two parts. One, introspecting yourself, what should not be as a part of your character, like anger, jealousy, greed, or anything it can be, which you don't feel like going along that part of character trait for next 1 year. I don't feel like, I'm not a jealous person, but in some situations I'm jealous, which is natural. You pardon yourself. You understand that you you introspect and you understand yourself, and then try and focus on the positive part of it: compassion, love, help, tolerance. Then what happens? It is like taking a candle into the dark room, and one day the darkness will go, candle will be bright. It needs a practice. It's like Ekalavya. It's not realization. It is realization plus continuous practice. How did PV Sindhu become PV Sindhu? She would have burned so many calories, and so much of practice, so much of 10,000 shots, so much of effort from her coach guru. All this combination made PV Sindhu. Something very similar, Kirti. If you want to become Kirti 2.0, Kirti 3.0, Kirti 4.0, you have to use some tools which we are going to experience now as a choice of yours, and then experiment these tools on yourself, self introspect on yourself, and then have a diary for yourself which acts as a mountain guide. Yeah. So it's like, in short, right, it is like focusing more on the positive traits rather than going the negative traits also. Because if I think that I should remove my jealousy, probably I'll become more jealous, because I am intuitively giving power to my jealousy. Rather than that, what I will do? Jealousy opposite. Boss, feel good, fat, be grateful, thank others, be helpful. If I focus on that, my jealousy probably will come down. But there is a scientific technique, yogic technique, which I'm going to introduce to you. You can use that as well, which will help you to defocus yourself on the negative traits of yours. Yes, ma'am. Next question. Ma'am, I'm not able to hear you. Is there any other next question?
No, sir, for now, no questions. We can move further, sir.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much, audience. I think you have been a wonderful audience. Now is the time for us to get into the experience part of it. Now, I'm going to introduce the heartful way, which has actually, helped me in energizing myself, which a tool which is called meditation. Get rid of unwanted things is what Kirti is trying to say, which is called rejuvenation or cleaning. Get better than what you are today by recognizing what you are today and asking for help for improvement of what we are today for better version tomorrow. That is connect with your higher self, right? So what we are going to do is a guided relaxation. But all this I've been practicing these tools of heartfulness way for about 20-25 years. Luckily, my family members also practice. My parents, my wife, and my kid also practice. And there's a beautiful atmosphere at home, which I experience on a day basis. Not that I became a saint. Let me accept, not that I've become a saint so far. There are tendencies in which I recognize that needs to go out on a day-to-day basis. But at least I am on the journey towards the destination, right? And a natural way that all these tools became a driver of my life. And then somehow I make time to help others experience these tools and techniques in various parts of the organization that I get in touch with, right? So now let's get into the experience part of it, and then probably the experience will take about 15-20 minutes. And then I will also help you with what you can do next if you are interested to actually take these tools forward. This is not a you know this is not a demonstration and a product selling kind of a thing. This is purely on a volunteer basis that yes, I have used this set of techniques for my transformation, and which have proven help me to a better version of myself on a day-to-day basis. And I am actually trying to put these tools in front of you. And the Heartfulness Way as an organization provides these tools absolutely free. Okay. Now, as I said, right, there are, if you look at it, uh, there are three techniques, actually four techniques: relaxation, meditation, rejuvenation and cleaning, and connecting with yourself, which is called prayer. So relaxation, meditation, cleaning, and prayer. Since we have time only for today, guided relaxation is what I will try and do, and then I will take you into meditation. And this is going to be like a sample class, if I can call it. And I will leave you with numbers in VJIT, and I will leave you with a site, where you can explore yourself, right? So let's begin the experience part of it. I would request all the audience to, sit in a relaxed manner, close your eyes. You can plug in earplugs, or you can keep the audio going on wherever in your comfort of the home. In next 15-20 minutes, I'm going to give you some nice commands or nice statements where you can understand this statement and implement that statement on yourself. Meaning, uh, I will say that, sit comfortably, close your eyes. You can sit in a comfortable position and close your eyes really in your homes. And then say that let's focus on our feet, relax our feet, relax our ankles, like that. Each and every part of the body, we'll focus and relax it. And then once we complete the relaxation from toe till the head, we'll gently focus on our heart, the Hridayam part of it, and give a gentle suggestion that there is a source of light or a divine light in my heart, in my manasu, not in my manasu, in my Hridayam. And then try and stay there in my Hridayam for some time. I will give you these commands and I will take you through as a guided experience. Close your eyes and follow my instructions, and then we will all do that together. And then later point in time we will you can ask me questions if there are any. And as I said, I will leave you with the information whom you can contact for next steps if you are interested. And one good thing is, not only the students, if you are sister, anybody above the age of 30, above the age of 15 in your homes can sit and experience this meditation. Your parents, your grandmother, you can put on the speakerphone and let them also sit if you would like to share this experience with them. Okay, I'll give 30 seconds for you to settle down and then we will start. Okay, so sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes. We are relaxing ourselves. Let's start from the feet. Wiggle your toes and feel them relaxed. Your feet, your ankles, and calf muscles are relaxed now. Energy from the Mother Earth is entering your feet and helping you to relax your lower legs completely. The energy is moving up until your waist area, and both your legs are completely relaxed now. The energy is moving up in your stomach area and the chest area. All the muscles in that area are fully relaxed. Bring your attention to your back. Your lower back, middle back, and upper back are completely relaxed now. Your shoulder muscles are getting relaxed. The energy is moving into them, and in fact, you are feeling that the shoulder muscles are just melting away. Let's bring our attention to the hands now. Your upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, palms, fingers and fingertips. Each and every muscle in your hands is getting soaked in this energy, and both your hands are completely relaxed now. Any tightness in your neck muscles is getting relaxed. Gently move your attention to your facial muscles, your cheeks, chin, mouth, ears, nose. All the facial muscles are completely getting relaxed now. Your eyes are soft and closed gently. All the muscles in the forehead area and the head area are fully relaxed now. From top of the head till tip of the toe, every part of the body is completely relaxed now. Your entire system is relaxed and you are ready to meditate now. Gently move your attention to your heart with a suggestion that there is a divine light or a source of light is already present there. That source of light is attracting or pulling your attention inwards. Stay there in your heart for some time till I give you an indication about coming out. Till then, stay there in your heart. Should there be any thoughts, gently ignore those thoughts. Bring your attention back to your heart. Let's begin meditation. Keep your eyes closed until I give you an indication to open them. That's all. You can gently come out of this meditation, but please keep your eyes closed for about a minute more. Observe your condition and compare that with the condition before the start of this meditation or before the start of the session. Record that state or condition in your mind, meaning make a mental map of how you are feeling currently. Once you got a grip of what you are currently experiencing, what is your condition currently, you can gently open your eyes. Okay, so we are entered the last leg of our session. Now we can open for any questions or any comments that how you felt during this meditation.
Hello, sir.
While the point of contact, yes, madam. Yeah, well, the point of contacts are on all these three names are your VGAT faculty. You can contact them, or you can visit our site at heartfulness.org, or you can download a WhatsApp, a mobile app which is available on the App Store as well as Play Store. Okay, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. As for now, we do not have any more questions, sir. Can we present a note of thanks to you and then end the meeting, sir?
Sure, very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Chakradhar, sir, for elaborating on tools and techniques towards self
introspection journey of our budding engineers, also mentioning how to become perfectionist through imperfections and attempting to learn it through practice and meditation. Thank you so much for sir. Our students and all the faculty who are listening to this definitely are benefited from the inputs of what of the session today, and probably we'll all try to attempt to follow it and try to practice it in our daily routine, and we'll definitely taste the benefits of all this. Thank you so much, sir. Hope to meet you very soon in our sessions again for the academic year. And a small instruction to the students here regarding all the academic announcements and instructions. You will be contacted through WhatsApp. So do not worry about the classes, the books, and any doubts regarding academics. Everything, every information will be sent to you through your WhatsApp links. So all of you have a great day. Have a happy day. Happy health to you and to your family. Sir, wishing you also a happy day and stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful meeting you on this platform. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to interact with the VGIT students and VGIT faculties as well. And it's been my complete pleasure. You have been a wonderful audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks.